Hello, if you want to watch exclusive lemon content on What If Naruto, then go to my Boosty. The first link in the description here contains such hot stories for adults, such as What If Naruto was a daddy for Sarada, or Kushina and Mikoto vulgar Naruto mommies. Follow the link and enjoy. I'm waiting for you.
Bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time. Let's begin. NAR appears to be dead or dying on the damp riverbed. Some people who are not good bastards would believe that he deserves to die. However, some perceive him as a young man battling a curse unlike any other. Naruto wonders how he came to be this way. Flashback. From 5 hours ago. You might wonder why Naruto is gurgling blood and panting. In other words, he went through one of the bloodiest fights of his life. Sasaki Uchiha, his best friend or purported best friend, had not only defeated him in this match, but also stabbed his chest with his lightning-covered hand, who was currently smirking at his work while standing over him. Sasaki retorted, "Feel that, loser. That's me being ahead of you. Again, stay in your place and below your betters." NAR kicked Sasaki in the face, after spitting a glob of blood in his face. The end of the flashback. NAR is currently in agony as he lies on the ground gradually healing his organs and heart. Kakashi Hatake soon pays him a visit, but he doesn't appear to be pleased to see him. Kakashi-sensei help. Naruto didn't get a chance to finish his sentence before Kakashi grabbed him by the throat and pulled him to the valley's edge. Naruto was offended when Kakashi said, "You bastard of a child. Not only have you failed to bring back my favorite, but you also dared to die in your failure. Such a waste." Kakashi-sensei, please. The temp was too powerful for basic restraint techniques. If I had gone all out, I would have said something like Kakashi gave Naruto a backhand in the face, so he never finished his sentence. "You are nothing but a bastard child born by that Horazwaki. Go and be with her in hell," Kakashi said as he threw Naruto off the edge, seemingly killing him, but not before grabbing his headband. As he falls to his apparent demise, Naruto lets out a scream. At night, somewhere close to the Valley of the End, the shape of a Kimaru Kaya can be seen on the grassy level ground. He had engaged in combat with Gar of the Sand and Rock Lee of Konoha, but an illness brought on by an unidentified cause prevented him from continuing the battle. However, some people, including the allied duo and the former Konoha-san, were unaware of Kimaroku Kaya's resurrection. The Kaya was shocked by what he was seeing and thought, "How is this possible?" As he approaches the Valley of the End at a leisurely pace, he perceives the region as the scene of a recent conflict. He moves in the direction of the edge to follow a blood trail. He sees Naruto Uzumaki, the boy he battled in the flatlands, looking down on another edge. He feels as though he is barely still alive. Kimaru considered either killing him or bringing him to Orochimaru for experimentation. Considers how evil and dark his past was, how many unnecessary deaths and experiments there were, and how weak his chance at immortality was. Kimaru thought, "Perhaps it's an opportunity to save myself and my ancestors from the gods," as he briefly fell. The interrogation office in Konoha. Kakashi is strapped and restrained in a chair. He's bruised and bleeding, fingers broken, mask ripped to pieces. He tried to pull on the Hokage, which is how he ended up this way. As Kakashi arrived, he had informed Tsunade and her assistant Shirzuen about the boy's death and how Orochimaru had attacked Naruto, informing her that Orochimaru had taken the boy and rendered Sasaki unconscious. Since Tsunade had doubted Kakashi's ability to train his team, she had been able to see through the lie, obtaining information from previous customers that deviates from Kakashi's mission reports, which portrays Sasaki favorably and Naruto negatively. She, Ibiki, Shazen, Jera, and surprisingly Hinata all wanted an answer that wasn't __. So Tsunade said, "So Kakashi, I would like the truth. Or do we have to beat it out of you again to get it? Hinata poked a spot on his body that causes a lot of pain in his genitalia. Alright, I'll tell you, just call it the Hyuga Aries, Kakashi said in a tone filled with excruciating pain as he screamed out in agony. Hinata stops striking as Tsunade places a hand on her shoulder. Kakashi opens up about everything, including how much he despises Naruto for being his sensei's bastard son, how he casts Sasaki in a positive light and Naruto in a negative one, and how he threw Naruto off the edge of the Valley of the End. Hinata, Tsunade, and Jiraiya were the only people in the room who were furious. Hinata make him scream one last time, Tsunade said, and the young Hyuga grinned at the order as she approached. The shaky scumbag of a teacher. Many people who discover the truth about Naruto's fate will hear and cherish the screams. Weeks later, back with NAR, Naruto had been transported by Kimuru to a hospital near the border between Spirit and Bear Country. NAR is currently still unconscious as he recovers from the severe harm that Kakashi and Sasaki inflicted on him. Kimura gave the nurses instructions to provide him with passive exercises while he recovered from the injuries. Naruto has been unconscious for the past few weeks as a result of this. Alongside Kimuru in pursuit of employment, Kimuro is strolling around the village. As Kimuru looks and notices a sign at a sort of school that reads, I need to find work. Hopefully, I can get enough for food and supplies for me and the Uzumaki. Assistance is needed for hand-to-hand combat training. The Vedic School of Martial Combat, Philosophy, and Science is written on the school sign that he examines. When Kimuru enters the room, he finds one man standing over three men who were unconscious and covered in bruises and dislocated limbs. He was larger and more muscular than Kimuru. The man's long red hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and his eyes were red with cat-like slits. Kimuru looked at the man and asked, "What is my first test of being a teacher at this school?" As several students were picking up the defeated fighters in the room, the man said, "You must survive a test of endurance in hand-to-hand combat. If you survive 40 minutes of non-stop fighting, you will be given the job and advanced pay from passing said test." Kimuru, who adopts his own fighting stance, declared, "I, Kimuru Kaya, am willing to accept your test." Red Lion said, "I, Red Lion, will face you in this test." As he readied himself for combat, Kimuru also assumes his combat stance. An epic battle between expert fighters soon starts alongside NAR. During his hospital stay, Naruto has yet to awaken from his sleep-like coma. On a cellular level, Naruto's physical condition had started to revitalize a long-standing aspect of his cellular composition. Returning with Kimuro, after fighting non-stop for 40 minutes, Kimuro is hired by the Vedic School of Warriors Arts. In addition, Kimuro receives starting pay for passing the test. For the upcoming beginning days, his first class will meet the following week. Returning to his hotel, he creates a strong hand-to-hand combat curriculum. He first goes to pay the hospital bill for NAR. The young Kaya will be put to the test over the next few months. Within the Leaf Village, a small group of people were mourning an unsung hero whose statue was erected atop the Hokage moment, while others were celebrating the supposed demon's demise. 8 months later, time jump with Kimuru. Kimamaro has demonstrated himself to be a superb instructor in the art of hand-to-hand combat, providing students with extensive training in this area. His curriculum and work ethic are praised by his fellow educators. Even a Pakura, a kunoichi from Sanager, who formerly possessed the elemental release of Scorch, and a woman named Yurin, who shares his bloodline but has crystals instead of bone, have expressed their admiration for him. During their conversations, the three would discuss their goals and past experiences. Soon they become closer than ever before as they sense a connection with one another. The three are currently naked in bed with one another following a rough, passionate night of sex to strengthen their bond and commitment to one another. After getting dressed, Kimura gets up to check on the blonde's condition. Yurin looked at Kimura, who grinned at her and said, Come back, Kimura. I really liked what you did last night with me and Pakura-chan," as he kisses Pakura and Yurin on the lips and walks away. Kimura says, "Sorry, my darling Yurin, but I have to keep a promise to myself to help a particular blonde friend." Pakura and Yurin exchange glances and decide to have some fun together while they wait for him. As Pakura and Yurin continue to engage in sexual activity with one another, sensing what's happening, Kimura hopes the blonde isn't awake. But given that it might occur anyhow, he hoped he wasn't too naive. Narrate at the hospital with after 8 long months in a coma. Naruto is finally waking up. Wearing a white hospital gown, he has a more defined frame and longer hair. Over the course of his stay, the mystery surrounding blonde had begun to placate the interest of the nearby nurses. Kimura notices that the blonde is waking up as she enters the room. Naruto soon woke up to find himself in a hospital. Before he can finish speaking, Nara turns to see Kimura standing in front of a visitor's chair. Where am I? It's a hospital. Alright, but where? Despite his passive training, his form remains rigid as he attempts to adopt a fighting stance. As Naruto sits and listens to the Kaya in question, Kimura says, "Easy uses Waki, I am not your enemy. We have much to discuss about what happened to you and where we are." Konoha again. Since the foolish civilian council informed the public that Naruto was dead and that Sasaki Uchiha would be hailed as a hero upon his return, the village concealed in the leaves has been going through a serious economic crisis. They failed to see, though, how 2 nations in an allied village had either raised trade prices or acted hostilely against the village, because they were praising a traitor rather than a true patriot. Jiraiya examines the summoning contract because she previously believed that Naruto was still alive. His name had been marked as dead, he notices. After giving up peeping, Jiraiya replaced his Ika Ika Paradise with Ika Ika Guardian, a book that is more geared toward women and has been selling better than Ika Paradise for the past few months. Additionally, the daimyo publicly whipped the civilian counselor who disclosed the information and embezzled a sizable sum of money from the village's funds. With a dead or alive bounty of 300,000 dead or 950,000 alive, Tsunade placed Sasaki in the bingo book. Tsunade Senju is currently working on some paperwork since Kakashi brutally killed her little brother. Figure had taken her work seriously due to martial law in the village. The aforementioned former Jonin, who is now Chunin, will serve in the reserve forces for the next 7 years. As she examined the documents in front of her, denied removing Sasaki from the bingo book and elevating him to the status of national hero. "Naruto, I wish you were here. I only hope you are still alive." Within the Hyuga complex, Hinata is upset about the situation. And to make matters worse, her clan elders arranged for her to marry Kanuka, who has been aggressively pursuing her for the past few months. All Hinata can do is hope that either Naruto resurrects or she passes away. She is unaware, though, that Naruto is returning with even more strength. Returning with Kimura and Nar. Everything that had transpired during Naruto's protracted coma had been explained by Kimura. Nar is shocked that his URSTY foe has turned into his healer and savior. Naruto, feeling aimless and lost after Kakashi's betrayal, asked, "So what now?" Kimura, "I have nowhere to go, and after that stunt with Kakashi, I'm certain that many of those who hate me want me dead if I return." Kimura looked at the blonde in front of him and said, "Right now, Nar, I don't know. Maybe you should decide what you want to do instead of what others want you to do." After giving it some thought, Nar chooses a course that will lead to a bright future. He reflects on those who saw him for who he is rather than as an annoyance. NAR recalls Hinata Hyuga's kindness and concern for him. Naruto said, "Well, I'll give it a shot. Hopefully, I can become a ninja worth salt." Kimura noticed that the young blonde had a unique light. "So, Kimamaru, could you tell me what you intend to do for your future?" a curious Naruto asked, glancing at the albino. Kimura looked at the young blonde, who was intrigued by the idea, and said, "Well, I plan to rebuild and reinvent the Kaya clan as a clan of skilled fighters. But the first order of business is I need to retrain you for your journey." Naruto questioned, "Why would you train me?" Kimura smirked at Naruto and said, "Because in a way, I sense great potential in you. Also, I have seen your academy records and stats. You need work, and I'm going to teach you to fight so well and so good you would be a #1 ninja in any book." Kimura said, "Get some sleep, Naruto. As for tomorrow, you will have a rebirth like no other." NAR grinned in response. Naruto's retraining under Kimura will soon be an absolute nightmare. After a year and 6 months time skip, Naruto had experienced true hell. He had undergone the Phoenix Gate, a training method used in the ninja program to retrain dropouts. To transform the typical ninja dropout into an iron warrior, a training regimen was created. The first person to ever go through this program and come out alive as Naruto. He relearned every aspect of being a warrior and ninja, including battle tactics, athletics, shuriken jutsu, buki jutsu, and hand-to-hand combat. NAR reluctantly underwent a re-education in both academic subjects in the military from history, science, mathematics, and numerous other disciplines that were required to finish the Phoenix Gate. After enduring mental and physical torture, Naruto managed to pass Phoenix Gate and acquire new skills and abilities that he would have lacked as a person. Along with Kimura, Pakura, and Gurren, Naruto is at the market looking for clothes and equipment, locating a new outfit that will allow him to conceal his identity from the Akatsuki. They ultimately decided on a gray scarf mask that would cover his face and hair, along with an attire evocative of the nomadic masked warriors who traverse the various environments and locations of the elemental nations. Pakura stroked Naruto's whisker lines and questioned, "Are you sure Naruto doesn't want to stay?" As Pakura and Gurren are moved by Naruto's noble spirit and character, he said, "Yes, I'm sure. I want to make a difference in the world and find my own path. The Akatsuki would attack this place to get to me, and I don't want your deaths on my hands, because I wouldn't live with myself if I did." After bidding the two farewell, NAR leaves into the horizon. The three lovers are aware of Naruto's lofty goals for the world's future and hope he lives up to them. Unaware that he would experience a unique physical rebirth, Naruto thought as he ran towards the horizon on a new journey. "Soon I will become the greatest ninja and warrior on the planet. I only hope that I have the will and skill to make it happen." Time jumped to a river country 6 months later. For the past 6 months, Naruto has been on the road. He has battled bandits that raid caravans, assisted hunters in tracking down untamed animals that devour humans, and collected bounties at bounty stations. NAR is currently walking along a narrow, muddy path until the thunderclap in the sky reaches his ears. Lethal lightning strikes start to fall along with the rain. The thunderstorms in river country are more intense than anywhere else, and NAR soon finds himself frantically escaping for his life. Random lightning strikes are occurring everywhere, striking trees, boulders, and some wildlife. NAR does his best to avoid the lightning strikes, but at last, 2 bolts strike him, knocking him in the direction of a sort of cave and knocking him out. Inside his body, electricity was swarming like spiders. Meanwhile, close to what was once Yuzio in a secret cave, On top of a collapsed building, a metallic statue of some sort of armored alive-like human warrior is lit by a series of seals. When someone awakens the statue, it comes to life like a living person and flies in the direction of that person to deliver something very significant. Returning to Naruto, inside a Nar Uzumaki's body at the cellular level, the young blonde's body is changing on a skeletal and muscular level due to the awakening of cells of a revitalized dormant trait. Tearing and breaking bone and muscle, then rebuilding it all at the same time, building bone and muscle strength, and adding 2 specific additions. In addition to becoming more resilient, organs are producing twice as much as they would normally. As his hair grows longer to his upper back, 2 things that only Tenga should have grow out of his back and become a reality for Nar. From his back, dark gray, white, feathered wings emerge. The fox was startled and awakened by this transaction and the burst of new strength, and his face cleared with all of the chakra from the fox returning. Inside the seal, while all of this was going on, a girl with mint green hair, a small button-tone build with a noticeable bust, and an outfit of her own design heard something in the cave. Unaware that her teammates are planning to kill her, and that the best way to accomplish this would be to trap her inside the cave with explosives, she slowly makes her way to investigate the sounds. Her teammates proceed to plant explosives inside the cave's entrance. Once they are sufficiently distant, the cunning pair sets them off, destroying the entrance and shocking the mint-haired girl inside, who is now trapped and mentally chasing a beast. But when she realizes who is in the cave with her rather than what, her thoughts will change. The girl bravely faced her alleged death, but instead of fear, she was filled with awe. A wild boy with angelic wings lay in front of her. The boy's muscular build and attractive wild face make her blush. Since he is unconscious but still alive, she approaches him and gently strokes his face, arms, and torso. Feeling grateful for his survival in private, she waits for him to awaken while sitting close to him. Inside Naruto's mind, Kaiba is shocked by what he learns about Naruto's ancestry while researching his new form. The fox-tailed beast senses its sibling in the girl with the mint hair, and it thinks, "Ah, the line of that one still lives within this boy." Each time will become interesting as he begins his path. The girl with the mint hair is searching for a way out, while also keeping an eye on Nar, whom she views as a fierce celestial prince. Nar is experiencing flashbacks and visions of various conflicts and incidents from other people's pasts in his head. The enigmatic voice said, "Live on my descendant. You will be a rebirth like no other to the Garuda." Nar woke up abruptly, startling the girl who was staring at him. Uncertain of the girl in front of him, Nar demanded, "Where am I and who are you?" The now named Fu said, "My name is Fu. I was a kunoichi from Waterfall. You're still in river country." As she turned to face the boy, Naruto looks at her and notices that her eyes are the same dejected ones he sees in Gar and himself. She is immediately recognized as a Jinturki, just like him and his red-haired friend. He becomes aware of his wings, fangs, and claws before he can say anything more. He is amazed by them and starts to wonder what happened, whether he was an angel of some kind, and what he really was. Gazing at the seemingly angelic blonde, Fu said, "Hey, wing boy, mind helping me figure out how to get out?" Naruto was about to say, "Sure, let's see what we can," when he and Fu sensed tremors coming from the sealed cave entrance and noticed a figure moving the rubble as a metallic figure with wings resembling Nar advances. Fu and Naruto assume combat stances. Slowly but surely he removes his helmet, exposing his lack of a face. The two learn that he is a kind of golem. The golem then approaches Naruto and touches his head with 2 fingers. Nar is soon drawn into his mental world. Inside Naruto Uzumaki's mind, Naruto turns to see that his mindscape is a distinctively designed castle rather than a sewer. As he moves through the corridors, he notices that the golem's model is standing next to a restrained Kyuubi that is both human-sized and shaped. He and the man shared the same features: strong dark gray wings and an animalistic appearance. His armor is made up of the samurai and warrior monk's lamlar armor, which has been altered to accommodate the man's wings. His helmet resembles a samurai's kabuto, but it has feather design and sharp black flaps. The stranger said, "Greetings, Naruto Uzumaki, or should I call you Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze?" Naruto was perplexed. Confounded by the way the man pronounced his name, Naruto questioned, "Why do you call me Namikaze, and who are you?" As Kurama complained about foolish telepaths to said, "I am Takamon. I am your ancestor from the Uzumaki clan. The reason I know it is due to me going inside of Kurama's mind here and found information of your parentage." Naruto looked at the winged warrior and asked, "Where are you from? And who is the Uzumaki clan?" The winged warrior described his origins as a being from another dimension, explaining that he and Naruto are members of the Garuda, a race of winged humanoid beings who fight for justice and freedom like warriors. Describing how he was a member of the Thunder Battle Group, a special forces unit. He described how a rival race of winged humans destroyed his civilization, which is how he entered his dimension. He encountered Kikyo Uzumaki, a fierce Uzumaki Onimusha who was taken prisoner by brigands and his Uzumaki ancestor. He describes in detail how he became married within the Uzumaki clan in addition to saving her. He also disclosed that his understanding of alchemy allowed him to contribute to the development of higher forms of Fujitsu. Kurama goes on to describe the Uzumaki clan as one of the great clans descended from the Sage of Six Paths, and how due to clan ties, he and practically cousins. He clarifies that the Uzumaki, not just himself, is the source of Naruto's healing factor. Kurama concluded by describing his parents and how he became enclosed within himself. Not only was NAR happy to know who his parents were, but he also knew who his enemy was, Uchihama. As he transforms his shackles into an armband, Naruto says, "Thank you, ancestor, and thank you, Kurama, for your knowledge of my heritage and lineage. I know I can't release you, but I can help with your arrangements." As he left Kurama's area, Naruto said, "You may go free when I have a way to separate us safely." As he and a blushing Naruto vanished from the mindscape to said, "NAR the Golem will give you the weapons and armor I once had. Use them well. My time is over, but what I want you to do is give me great-grandchildren." Returning to reality, Fu is concerned about the wingness, who appears to be in a trance near the living statue at the moment. Soon after, Naruto awakens from the trance, the statue begins to disintegrate, scattering armor and weaponry across the floor. "Are you okay?" NAR interrupted Fu, who was stunned by the information. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I am the last male of the Uzumaki clan and the son of the Yandami Hokage and Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox," Naruto said. The son of a cage and the Jinhyuri of the strongest Buju are in front of her in addition to Konoha's lost Jinhyuri. The seven-tailed beetle inside Fu said, "Well, my little larvae, you found a fierce Prince Charming. You should go with him," she observes as the warrior with the blonde wings removes the armor from the fallen golem. NAR then retrieves his ancestral weapons and armor. NAR soon dons the armor of his ancestors. He then examines each of his weapons, including a clawed gauntlet, a serrated dagger, and a double-edged sword with a pronged guard. His other weapons included a ball and chain, a collapsible short battle staff with a hidden blade that makes it an effective combat spear, a weapon that based on what to knew was a plasma saber, and lastly, an extensive collection of impact bombs, and throwing knives. Additionally, NAR experiences a profound increase in his understanding of combat, Fujitsu, and other skills. Wearing his ancestral armor, NAR stands up and turns to face his fellow Jinchuriki. NAR looked at the girl with the mint hair and said, "Well, Fu, if you want to follow me, I have a journey to go on. I will not stop you if you want to follow me or not." For the first time, Fu senses someone who might be truly precious to her, Fu said gladly, while glancing at NAR. Having a travel companion, especially one like Fu, makes NAR happy. As he and Fu zoomed out of the cave together, NAR said, "Great, let's go!" Fu is taken aback by her companion's ability to move as quickly as her. Before long, they emerge from the cave. When Fu gets a closer look at her friend's armor, she realizes how amazing he is in his ancestral armor. An inquisitive Fu, enthralled with her companion's eyes, asked, "Well, where do we start our journey, Naruto-kun?" As they both started to take off, Naruto remarked, "Well, Fu, we need to get you some armor before we start any journey." At Konoha, in remembrance of her late crush, Naruto, Hinata is training harder than ever before. She is pushing her Jukin skills to the limit, incorporating technical acrobatics and aerobics into her movements. For her part, Hinata pauses and feels a wind of change coming from somewhere she doesn't know, but she knows it's going to be beneficial for her. In 7 years, she will get married. She believes that Naruto is still alive, somewhere, possessing a brand new strength that has only been witnessed once. Returning with Fu and Naruto, an old clan compound serves as a haven for Naruto and Fu. Fu had discovered that a good number of people genuinely cared for her fellow Jinchuriki who had gone through difficult times in his hometown. One of them, a clan he knew loved him, is an Eyes. At first, Fu was envious, but then she recalled Naruto telling her that his stamina was far superior to hers. Like Naruto and the Hyuga Aries, Fu believes she might as well share the prince with the Aries. In fact, she might even like being with both a male and a female. Fu's struggles in her own village were also revealed to Naruto. Fu is one of the many soulmates Naruto will meet and potentially be with, but he doesn't know why he began to feel something for her. While the two are currently examining the stars, Naruto went into great detail to explain that his wings were the result of his genomes being awakened by multiple lightning strikes that began his transformation into the person he is today and the person from whom he is descended. Using the golem's information for her part, Fu looks at the wings in question and notices that they resemble hers, but they are larger and more powerful, in addition to being at ease with its feathers and fur. Looking at Naruto's wings, Fu exclaimed, "Incredible." Fu blushed as she admired the muscles in his back and remarked, "Well, you are something else entirely." When Fu glanced at his wings, Naruto said, "Thank you. That means a lot from you." In another secret base, there are multiple figures visible, each with unique features, red clouds and black cloaks. A man with orange hair and eyes with ripples of purple said, "Report," with his partner nodding in agreement. A figure with raven hair and deep red eyes declared, "We are unable to find the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki." The green-eyed, masked figure said, "Itachi and Kiss aren't the only ones we lost track of the Seven-Tails Jinchuriki." A figure with silver hair declared, "If we ever get our hands on whoever took them, I will sacrifice them to Jash and Sama." The purple-eyed figure said, "Focus on the other Jinchuriki. The other two will be found." As each of their holograms departed, returning with Fu and NAR in his armor guise, NAR assists Fu in locating clothes and armor to help conceal her from the Akatsuki and its spies. Naruto and Fu are currently in the changing area of a ninja outfit store. Fu had tried on 12 different outfits, each of which had unique advantages for various elemental terrains. as Fu exits the dressing room wearing a modified azure blue peaking mask that reveals more of her eyes and chin. She asks, "What do you think?" A dark gray feminine design chest guard that resembles the ninja of the Wearing Clan's era, complete with matching pants and a pair of very stylish and useful kunoichi sandals. Naruto exclaimed, "You look incredible," as he gazed at a flushed Fu. Fu gave Naruto a hug in appreciation for his compliment, saying, "Thank you, Naruken. That means so much from you." NAR gives his friend a smile. They both went to the counter and bought the equipment and attire. A curious Fu asked, glancing at his friend, "So Naruken, what are we to do?" Naru says to himself. Naruto replied, "Well, Fu, there is only one type of job that would keep people safe and keep renegade ninja and bandits up at night. Bounty hunting." Fu nodded firmly, realizing that although her village's residents may have despised her, some people shouldn't feel the same way. Fu asked, "When do we start?" While NAR grinned at her and said, "When we get to a bounty office." Fast forward 4 years. One by one, the missing Nin are being killed in different ways as a group of them flee from an unexpected enemy. An armed winged figure swoops down on the Nin with a strange glowing sword after one ducks behind a tree and peers down at him with predatory intent. The winged warrior swooped down and severed the man's head without the man noticing. Soon after, a woman wearing unusual armor and a modified azure blue peaking mask shows up beside her potential companion. The woman looked at her winged companion and said, "Well, my dear Garuda, we have enough bounties on missing Nins for the rest of the year. Let's relax and take a vacation." As he and Vishnu gathered the heads of the missing Nins, Garuda remarked, "Yes, my Lady Vishnu, we do deserve a break from bounty hunting after all. However, I need to find the one who is most promising when it comes to bounty first. In other parts of Konoha, although the exterior of Konoha is in excellent shape, the interior is a living hell. The Hogue's authority is being steadily undermined by a number of dishonest counselors who want to take Sasaki Yukai out of the bingo book. Due to their efforts to address the hospital's ongoing medical supply shortages, a large portion of Konoha is in chaos. Even worse, because they are less skilled than the majority of kunoichi, the number of fangirls and noblemen children in the ranks has led to an increase in mission failures. Danzo is participating in the power siphoning along with his fellow elders. Ino Tenten, a boy named Takahiro Tenno, Hinata, and 2 clanless Chunin hopefuls make up's current class of medics. Sakura would have joined them, but Tsunade revoked her shinobi license after discovering that she had a latent disregard for the safety and training of a Genon team, which resulted in the team's deaths during AD rank protection mission that she attempted to conceal with the councils. As she began to feel more and more exhausted from the day, Tsunade said, "Okay, everyone, now that you know the human body's healing and kill points, tomorrow I will train you in the use of chakra scalpels and healing hands. So be ready for tomorrow." "Hi, Lady Hawkhag," was said by the medical team. Shazen, who has become a source of hope for her since Naruto's presumed death, said, "Lady Tsunade, please relax. You're pushing too hard. I know it's hard that Naruto is gone, but you know, he wouldn't want to see you in such disarray." Tsunade smiled. Despite her circumstances, she was with Hinata. "You two have always been good to my spirit after all these years. However, I feel that something on the horizon is bringing not only darkness, but an incredible light that was once stolen from this world." Spoke with a cryptic voice, which for some reason makes Hinata and Ino feel the same. Hinata stated, "I do see your feelings ever since Kakashi's demotion and disgrace. People have been acting out of character and showing their true colors." Ino concurred, believing Sakura to be a spoiled princess and cunning, after she disparaged Naruto for not bringing back Sasaki and failing to carry about her teammate's death. Hinata thought, "Sadly, I wish Naruto-kun was here." Other places in the elemental nations, a man named Sasaki Uchi is prowling the Ember countryside, putting his abilities to the test against the local nomadic clans. His desire for a worthy opponent remains unfulfilled as he travels towards Rice Country after defeating a clan full of alleged weaklings. That is, until he notices a figure hovering over him. Garuda pulled out his short sword and charged at the fallen prince of the Ukiah, saying, "So the fallen prince of the Ukiah is here at Ember Country. I will enjoy getting the bounty. Bring your hide and broken." Lady Vishnu observes the conflict calmly. Garuda decides to put a little more pressure on the Ukiah clansmen. After Sasaki and Garuda engage in a fierce sword fight in which they match each other in many steps, Garuda's extraordinary sword skills and strength start to put pressure on Sasaki. Garuda cracks a distant tree with a push kick to Sasuke. Sasaki, for his part, launches a fireball, jutsu, and shuriken at Garuda, but he is shocked to see that Garuda is unharmed as he flies towards Sasuke with his sword. Garuda's physical strength makes Sasuke's arms feel like jelly. Sasaki puts his sword away so he can use taijutsu to battle Garuda. Seeing this, Garuda engages in taijutsu combat as well. 30 minutes of punching and kicking are exchanged. As he grows disinterested in the battle, Garuda employs trapping techniques to counter Sasaki's sophisticated interceptor snake fist hybrid style. Garuda then uses his vicious grappler tactics to pummel Sasaki. Sasaki retaliates with the cursed seal, but Garuda uses more of his strength to nearly kill the mutated Ukiah, causing Sasaki to lose the cursed seal. The Ukiah is knocked out by Garuda's final blow. Lady Vi approached Garuda and kissed him, saying, "Wow, darling, you really didn't like him." As he picked up Sasaki and took off for Konoha, Garuda remarked, "Well, darling, it was personal for me in more than one way." Gazing off into the distance, Garuda thought, "I might as well go to Konoha to see what the others are doing." After 4 hours, because of a bar fight they had with some brave vandalizers of Naruto's grave, Azumo and K2 are on guard at the village gates. They quickly notice a figure flying toward the gate and lowering himself so he can land while they are keeping an eye out for any trouble. Amo said, "Halt, state your business." While glancing at the winged figure, Azumo goes to notify the Hokage and Katetsu looks at the figure in surprise. "I am Garuda, and this is my companion Lady Vishnu, and we are here to collect the bounty on Sasuke Uchiha." "Here," Garuda said as he placed him on the ground. As Azumo arrived with Tsunade, Jiraiya, and several Umbu, Garuda remarked, "I wanted to see if he had gotten any strong from when he joined your enemy. It looks like he just learned new tricks instead of improving his true strength." As they bow in homage to the Hokage, Garuda and Lady Vishnu are introduced. "Greetings, Lady Hogue. I'm glad to meet you. My name is Garuda. This is my companion, Lady Vishnu. The stories are real." Tsunade, Jiraiya, and several Andrew examine the pair with odd but calculating eyes. She thinks the strength and wisdom of the one from another world will rebuild the Uzumaki clan in a new image. Garuda asked, casting a critical glance at Tsunade, "Are we able to be paid for the bounty, Lady Hokage?" Tsunade bowed to them and departed with the battered DUI, saying, "Yes, we will talk about it the next day right now. Please stay at our complimentary hotel for the next day. My ambulance will escort you there. Please follow us, Garuda-sama." "Well, take you to the hotel," Nico said to the winged person in a polished yet astounded manner. Garuda said, "Okay," led on while maintaining his disguise. As the group moves through the village in the direction of Konohazan, Garuda notices darkness because Konoha's streets are filthy. According to his senses, there have been rapes, murders, and riots in the different shadowy streets and alleys. He spots Hinata Hyuga before he can move on to the hotel. Across the street from him, a young woman, now a fierce yet attractive kunoichi, is strolling. She is not alone, though. Kanuka, who seems to be more of a feral-looking bully, is walking close to her. His inappropriate touches, especially in public, make Hinata uncomfortable. Garuda approaches the two-leaf Neens. A hand caught KB as he was about to grab Hinata in the crotch. When Ka turns around, Hinata and Garuda are standing taller than him. Garuda looked at the dog boy and then at the Aries, asking, "Excuse me, ma'am, is this fellow bothering you?" Garuda began to crush Ka's wrist in his grasp. But Ka retorted, "But out, __, this is me and my mate's business. So, __, off." Garuda tossed Ka aside as if he were nothing, saying, "I was talking to the lady, not you, dog boy." In an attempt to apologize for his master's behavior, Ka's dog companion whimpers. Garuda scratched behind Akamaru's ear and said, "It's quite all right. My canine friend, you owner, needs to learn how to be a gentleman in a proper manner." Hinata approaches him. Hinata looked at the man in question and admired his wings before saying, "Thank you, sir, but who are you, might I ask?" Garuda bowed to Hinata in a gentlemanly manner and said, "Please, madam, call me Garuda." Hinata grinned at the man in front of her and said, "Well, Garuda-sama, thank you for your interference as Ka was getting too aggressive for the longest while. I am Hinata Hyuga." Garuda turned to Lady Vishnu and said, "Here, let me take you home, madam." As he takes off with Hinata bridal style, Garuda declares, "I'm going to take Hinata here home. I will meet you at the inn." "Oh, my sweetheart Garuda, you are absolutely amazing. You have good taste in women, especially the assassin's fist type." I'll admit, as she walks to the inn, Lady V imagines herself, Hinata, and Garuda in the bedroom playing in the sheets. "Maybe if we get lucky, I can get to know the Haga privately," she muses, with Hinata and Garuda. Hinata is amazed at the opportunities to fly with Garuda and see the locations from fresh perspectives. As Garuda landed in front of the Hyuga compound gates, Hinata said, "Please go down there." Garuda looked at Hinata and said, "Well, Miss Hyuga, I wish you a good day. Hopefully, we can meet again under different circumstances." Hinata said, "Yes, most definitely." As Garuda took off for the inn where he and Lady Vishnu were staying. While flying, Garuda considers the village concealed in the whirlpool as a potential means of re-establishing the Uzumaki clan. As he made his way to the inn, Garuda thought, "Looks like this village is going to hell. Looks like I need to free it." In a dimly lit room, Garuda and Lady Vi are snuggled together in their bed. They are currently sleeping after bringing Sasaki Uchi back a day ago. In the prison at Umbu, a chain is hanging Sasuke Uchiha upside down by his ankles. This is how he has been since Garuda brought him back to Konoha. All he can think about at the moment is how easily Garuda defeated him. Power-mongering Yukaya believed that I will have whatever power he has when I take it from him. Returning with Vishnu and Garuda, Lady V and Garuda are both heading for the Hokage Tower when Garuda is bumped into by a boy wearing black pants and a green long-sleeved shirt with a long blue scarf. As he assisted the young boy in standing up, Garuda asked, "You okay, little buddy?" Astonished by the figure's features, the boy gazes at Garuda. The boy in question said, "I'm all right. Thank you, sir. I apologize. I wasn't seeing where I was going." A scarred Tunin asked, "Konohamaru, where are you?" As he turned to see Konohamaru conversing with an unfamiliar man wearing wings. The Tunin moved slowly toward them. Barua sighed peacefully as Garuda said, "It's okay, sir. My companion and I were just walking towards the Hokage Tower to collect my bounty, and I bumped into young Kanehamaru here." Barua apologized, bowed, and left with Kanehamaru saying, "My mistake for assuming the worst. I will just be taking Kanehamaru here with me back to the academy. He has a test to be completed." As he and Lady V made their way to the Hokage Tower, Garuda thought, Same old Aruka and same old Kanehamaru. They spot a group of Ambu in front of the entrance to the Hokage Tower. As they get closer, "Yes, I am here to see the Hokage about the bounty for Sasuke Uchiha," Garuda remarked, observing that the Ambu in question didn't appear to be typical. The Ambu said in a tone that was almost robotic, "You are to surrender for crimes against the Uchiha by order of the Council of Konoha." Garuda thinks, "Wow, these guys are real rude but jerks, just like Gigi told me." As Lady V and Garuda assume their fighting positions, it appears that I will have the opportunity to cast some criticism on these Ambu and the alleged Konoha Council. The battle, which is more akin to a Bollock Stomp, takes place when Garuda and Lady V use their distinct fighting techniques to battle the Root Ambu in disguise. Lady Vishnu overwhelms her half of the group with her graceful yet powerful kicks and forceful throws in her acrobatic and dance-like style of fighting. Garuda overpowered his group by employing his more refined and composed brawler-style strategies. Garuda and Vishnu are waiting patiently for Tsunade, who soon arrives with an actual Ambu to find the battle scene. Asked, glancing at the two in question, "What is the meaning of this?" Turns to the group of Ambu who attempt to rise and attack Garuda but are defeated by No, Siru, and Taka. "This group tried to arrest us on trumped-up charges," Lady V explained. When they each remove their mask, they find that their cyanide teeth have killed them. Turned to face Lady V and Garuda and thought, "Damn it, those counselors have roots in regular Ambu." Bowed and apologized, saying, "I apologize. I gave no order for this attempt to arrest you." Grinned at Naruto's suggestive tone as he said, "You weren't at fault with this. Your council should be the ones to blame. I am sure they would pay the bounty handsomely for this transgression." As No avoided the council members in questions, Tsunade remarked, "Nico, go call a council meeting in the chambers. We are going to pay Garuda and Lady Vishnu here their reward." Tsunade said in a cunning manner, "Please follow me, sir." "You will be paid handsomely," which made Lady Vishnu and Garuda smile. 30 minutes later, time jump. The elder shinobi and civilian council members are all seated inside the meeting rooms anticipating Tsunade's arrival. When the chamber doors open, Tsunade is seen walking behind Garuda and Lady Vishnu. The man was about to say, "Lady Hokage, what is the meaning of calling this meeting, and why are those two mongrels?" when Garuda rushed at him with unexpected speed and left him by the throat, with the man dead in his eyes. Garuda threw him back to his chair and said, "Watch out for your tongue worm when you speak." As the civilians glare at the female Hokage, Tsunade stated, "I called this meeting to tell your civilians that your powers on military matters," one civilian remarked. "But Lady Hokage, these two brought back the Uchiha heir in worse conditions." While Garuda laughed at the claim. Gazing at the civilians, Garuda declared, "You civilians don't own me, and never will. I am a bounty hunter and mercenary. I don't serve you or this village." Garuda went to kiss Lady V's hand, making her blush, and said, "Oh, I almost forgot that you civilians are going to be paying the bounty on the bastard after the stunt that you tried to pull on me and my beloved Lady Vishnu." Sun looked calmly at Garuda and said, "Excuse me, I have a grievance with you regarding the assault on my son, Ka and Isuka." Sun nodded in agreement as Garuda stated, "Your son is LWD and indecent of women. That's why he got thrown around like he did." Soon looked at the winged warrior and said, "Well, for the honor of my clan, I must issue you a challenge to face him in single combat, only using taijutsu and weapons." A stoic but inquisitive Garuda asked, "What are the terms?" Sun calmly remarked, "Simple. Whatever the winner wants." Garuda said, "I will accept. When is the duel?" As he and Lady Vishnu left the room, Garuda bowed and said, "See you tonight in Izuka," and soon added at 8 p.m. tonight in the Inuzuka clan compounds. Battle Pit. Tsunade leaked her murderous intent towards the civilians in question, who nodded frightfully. "I want you cheap bastards to give them your money after the duel. No skipping, no skimming. You got it," she said. At night at the Inuzuka battle pit, the entire Inuzuka clan, Hinata and Hayashi Hyuga, the elders and civilian counselors, Tsunade, Shazen, and Taiten, as well as other clan heads. The Tekkagi claws of Ka's clan are on the backs of his hands as he stands in the battle pit. An impatient civilian counselor asked, "Where is he?" regarding the winged warrior in question, in order to conceal his identity even from the Byakugan. Garuda soon shows up with Lady Vishnu wearing a wrestler's mask and no armor. As he leaps into the pit and tosses his coat to Lady Vishnu, Garuda says, "I apologize for being late. I was unsure of what weapon to use on you, dog boy." An overconfident Ka declared, "Whatever. Bird brain, let's fight," because he wanted to murder the man for meddling with him and his woman. Garuda pulled out a blunt spike ball and chain and said, "Let's causing a few of the men to think badass." While he and Ka prepared to battle, soon threw a bell in the middle to signal the fight, saying, "Okay, you boys know the rules. No ninjutsu or jinjutsu akameru is to stay out of the fight. The fight is knockout only." Ka charges in an attempt to use his vicious fighting taijutsu style to overwhelm Garuda. Garuda, on the other hand, counters with a quick low leg sweep. After deftly dodging and avoiding KBA's blows, Ka gets better and carries on his assault. Garuda launches an offensive using his ball and chain in what appears to be a brawler taijutsu style. Ka is hit with an elbow to the face and then an uppercut. After he manages to avoid the ball, Ka puts up a valiant fight, but Garuda quickly overwhelms him with a swing to the head that knocks out some of his teeth and sends him to the ground motionless. As he approached Lady Vishnu, Garuda remarked, "Well, it appears that I have one." He believes that the winged warrior, before anyone can warn him, only to be struck in the solar plexus by a psychic. Garuda said, "Okay, now it's over," as he approached Lady V to retrieve his jacket. As Garuda turns to face Hinata, soon remarked, "Honor has been satisfied. Name your reward and it will be done." As the Hyuga elders are about to protest, Garuda said, "I would like the marriage contract for one Hinata Hyuga and for Hinata to be unmarked for the travel with me and Lady Vi until Hayashi reveals his intention to kill." Garuda added, "I would also like for Hinata to be discharged from the shinobi forces, Lady Hokage, as I don't need her tied to the village with cows, possibly causing me displeasure with Hinata's treatment." Nod in agreement as Hinata looked at him with some sort of hope. As Hinata nods and heads for the Hyuga compound, Hayashi said reassuringly, "Anata, go get your things. You will be going with Garuda," as she accompanied Hinata to ensure there was no funny business. Lady V said, "Here, let me help you pack." The Hyuga elders are upset about the fight's outcome and attempt to attack Garuda, but Hayashi kills two of them while warning the others. "Sunam, here is some meat for some of your stronger ninja breeds," I said, as soon snapped her fingers and two Inuzuka picked up the two dead bodies. In order to return to his proper equipment, Garuda flies in the direction of the hotel. After Ka is picked up by an Inuzuka clansman and taken to the medical station outside the pit, everyone departs with Hinata and Lady V. as Lady Vishnu assists Hinata with packing her things. They are getting along well. Lady V shares Garuda's backstory as someone who has undergone a significant rebirth, which is incredibly inspiring. Lady V had the pleasure, or rather the annoyance, of meeting Hinata's younger sister, Hanib, a very conceited girl who denigrates all Hyuga, including her own sister. Lady Vishnu is currently strolling beside Hinata outside the gate. "Well, Hinata, are you ready for the world?" Lady V asked, glancing at the former Hyuga Aries. "Yes, I am very ready. I want to get out of here." Hinata expressed her deep-seated hope for change, partly because of less elder influence when she said, "I only hope things for the Branch family get settled soon with or without me." The eccentric Lady V yelled, "Come on, let's race," as she dashed in the direction of the hotel. When they dash to the hotel to meet Garuda, who is waiting for them, he asks, "Well, Hinata, are you ready for your new life on the road?" As he looks into her eyes and senses her desire for someone else, who Garuda knows, nods. Hinata let out an eep as Garuda picked her up bridal style and she said, "Yes, Garuda, __, I am ready for it." Lady Vi then got on his back and wrapped her arms around his toned chest. The three of them fly out of the village inside an enclosed room. "Look, on the bright side, at least we have the Ukiah back," Amara said as Danzo nodded in comprehension of the situation. "Damn it, we let a valuable new bloodline slip through our fingers. Have our spies keep us informed about the activity for this winged warrior. We may be able to learn more about him and his partner," Danzo said as an operative nodded in understanding. "Garuda and company are back. The three of them are given a hotel room for the night, and Garuda locks the door, places a security seal on the room, and places a dark seal on the window. Garuda lands close to a village to rest after the journey from Konoha, and Hinata feels her legs again, as she is a little excited. When Garuda catches the attention of the Hyuga in question, he says, "Hanata-chan, there's something I need to show you." Garuda removes his mask to reveal himself as Narite Uzumaki Namikaze, shocking Hinata, who exclaims, "Naruken, why you're alive," as she rushes and jumps in his arms, kissing him passionately and then breaking the kiss by locking eyes with him. "How did you get these gorgeous wings? And what happened to you all this time? They resemble the wings of an angel. Are you an angel?" As Hinata looks at her newly revealed blonde husband, Narite tells her that he is descended from the Uzumaki clan royalty and from an interdimensional warrior with extraordinary abilities, explaining how he acquired his new bloodline. For her part, Hinata listened and was astounded to learn that her husband is descended from a warrior from an unidentified era, as well as one of the most powerful clans. Inside the Akatsuki's covert base, Itachi closes his eyes and lets out a deep sigh as he learns that Naruto, disguised as Garuda, defeated Sasaki and brought him back to his village. His and Kasami's holograms deactivate as they depart to travel to an unidentified destination. "Foolish little brother, you only got stronger in the power given to you, not your skill that you neglected to improve and gain. NAR and company are back." As he flies past Water Country to visit the country known as Whirlpool, where his mother is from, Narite, dressed as Garuda, is carrying Bo-Fu, who is disguised as Lady Vishnu, on his back, and Hinata, who is being carried bridal style. They are amazed by the enormous architectural structures of Whirlpool Country, including its defensive walls, fortifications, and well-made building design. Despite the Uzumakis being dispersed to the winds, Narite thinks, they must have put up a hell of a fight against the invaders, but from what I can tell, the Uzumaki clan. The trio is soon encircled by 5 men who appear to be dressed in turbans. One of the warriors in question said, "Who are you? And state your business." Slipping Into his Garuda persona, Naruto declared, "I am Garuda. Me and my companions are here to visit my ancestral home of Yuzio in Whirlpool Country. My name is Bijik, and we belong to the Ogus tribe from the western continent." As Naruto, Hinata, and Fu gazed at him curiously, Bijik remarked, "We came here to seek a permanent home, and we seek not to disturb your ancestral home in any way. You claim to be from the western continent." As Bijik motioned for the three of them to follow him, Naruto said, "Tell me more about your people because I think we can help each other." They soon arrived at the Ogus people's base camp where Hinata and Fu observed children playing and some women creating art, while other women practice fighting techniques that are unfamiliar to both of them. Hinata feels a sense of familiarity with the unarmed aspects of the camp. Curious about his people's arrival, Naruto asked, "When did your people arrive in Yuzu? I thought the whirlpools would rip ships apart if they got near." "Indeed, they would if you were unable to avoid whirlpools." As they made their way to the leader's tent, Bijak responded, "My people have a history of naval combat and whirlpool avoidance as our special skill on the sea." A man wearing a golden turban stands taller than Bijak and Naruto at the tent, gazing at the trio. The tall man said, "Bedek, who are these you have brought here?" As Isef casts a critical glance at the three, Bijak explained, "Headed man Isef, I bring with me 3 strangers, with the winged one being a descendant of this land." As he removed his helmet to reveal his face, Naruto responded, "I am Naruto Uzumaki, Namikaze, descendant of the Uzumaki clan and the first of the Neo-Garuda. I go by Garuda to hide myself from the eyes of my enemies." Isef said, "I heard of this Uzumaki clan, but I thought they had red hair." Isef sensed something in the blonde that might reveal the answer or force him to attempt Naruto's murder. As Isef senses that the boy is telling the truth, Naruto responded, "I am on my mother's side, and through that side if Uzuaki's side my power of the Garuda of old awakens from." With a critical gaze on the blonde, Isef asked, "So Uzuaki, what brings you here to your home?" "To visit my ancestors and discover my life's purpose." As Isef glances at Fu and Hinata, Naruto responds, "I only want to understand my past in order to unlock my future with my lovers with me on my journey." As several of his tribesmen stared at Naruto with their hands on their hilts, Isef asked, "So Naruto, do you seek to banish us from your land?" "In fact, I was curious to know why you came to Uzio from your home continent." And they are surprised Isef by asking, "Because it might help me with what I think may be best for my people." Isef said, "Come, follow me," leading the 3 ninja into his tent. Konoha again, overwhelmed by paperwork as if it were any other day. Tsunade recalls the terrible but somewhat satisfying day 2 days prior, when the council had secretly pardoned Sasuke. A flashback from 2 days ago. Shazen bursts into the room in shock as finishes a lecture on arteries. "Lady, the Daimo has sent this to us," Sherzuan said, looking at Tsunade as she hands her the scroll. "Is teaching Ino, Tenten, and several other kunoichi and ninja who want to become medical need important medical skills and knowledge." Tsunade frowns as she reads the scroll. "Class dismissed," Tsunade said, glaring at Shazen, who returned her frown as they all left for their individual studies. Tsunade, the civilian council, and the elder council meet Sasaki as he strolls outside, grinning smugly. Sasaki took his headband from Tsunade and said, "Oh, Lady Hokage, thank you for returning my headband to me." Before he could finish, she slapped him in the mouth. "You will address me as Lady Tsunade or Lady Hakaguchi, or so help me. I will neuter you and make you into an annunciate in a cold tone." Lady Hokage, that was uncalled for, especially since he killed the dam. Tsunade leaked her murderous intent before the man could finish that sentence, and you will have a closed casket funeral. Said in a tone that left no room for Uchiha, you will be pleading that Garuda killed you if you betray the village. Tsunade said as she left, Shazen trailing behind. The flashback is over. In a situation like this, she can imagine how her blonde Gaki would be doing. NAR and company are back. It culminated when Isef revealed that he and a small group of his warriors had attacked the Khan's convoy and killed the despotic Khan, taking the man's coveted iron saber. In the process, Isef had described how his people had been forced to flee their country because their Khan had been extremely warlike and cruel over the years, to the point where he killed another tribe of allied people. I can tell that your people are sincere. As Nara waits for Isef's response, he suggests, what I purpose is that you help me with rebuilding Uzio, and you'll have a place in the elementals in Neo. Yes, I will consider this, Isef replied, and Naruto bowed in gratitude. I have a question for you, NR said, and Isef nodded. Are there any other foreigners in Whirlpool who are similar to you? NR inquired about the number of clans in Whirlpool. Yes, 3 groups of individuals. The Lama warrior monks from Shambhala, the Lin Kuei from Xing, and the Drajos from Darkma. They are found in the country's east, west, and north. Isef replied, in territories to themselves, to which Naruto nodded. Well, it appears that my friend and I have work ahead of us to turn Yuzio into a village and a formidable fighting force. Naruto put his helmet back and said, I can't promise you we will stay out of war, but I will make sure your people will see another. Isef and Bijik nodded in agreement as he spoke as though giving orders, saying, Boo, you will go to the Drajos in the west. Hinata, you will go to the north to speak with the Lin Kuei, and I will talk to the warrior monks about joining the rebuilding of Yuzio. We need more people for what's coming. Even though the Ogis's people are strong, Naruto remarked as he took off. For the warrior monks from Shambhala in the east, with Hinata heading north and Fu heading east. For his part, Naruto understands that even though he couldn't fit in with Konoha, he can do so by creating a space for himself and other people who are similar to him. As Naruto approached the camp of the Shambhala warrior monks, he thought, no, here we come. Hinata is heading to the Lin Kuei's northern territory, while Fu is heading to the Drajos warriors camp. Hinata is not aware that a Lin Kuei spy is watching her. As Lin Kuei the spy watches Hinata move toward the north, he thinks is going to be interesting after all. In the elemental nations elsewhere, the winds are changing. Something new is going to hit the elementals with a great change. Jiraiya thought to himself as he reviewed reports on his spy network and sensed a return of great power. The encampments of the Lin Kuei, Drajos warriors, and Lama warrior monks were reached by Naruto, Hinata, and Fu. Naruto had persuaded the Lama warriors monks to think about joining Neo, claiming that their spiritual practices would be accepted and their lessons learned, among other things. Fu had persuaded the Drajos warriors to think about joining, arguing that if they wanted to, they could use their knowledge of battlefield strategy and combat to strengthen the village. Because of their abilities as assassins, fighters, and infiltrators, skills that are highly valued in the elementals, Hinata persuaded Lin Kuei to think about joining Neo UI. Each leader nods in agreement to meet Isef in a neutral location. Only one bodyguard is permitted per leader. NAR is currently awaiting the return of his lovers and their entourage. Fu walks alongside the Drajos people's leader and his bodyguard, a tall, muscular man with golden predatory eyes and wild hair pulled back in a ponytail. He and his bodyguards wear samurai-style armor with winged dragon designs. As Hinata enters, she is accompanied by the Lin Kuei leader, a long-haired woman with black hair dressed in a white battle chone, dress that accentuates her toned legs and athletic figure. Her two bodyguards are dressed in combat-oriented chiampa uniforms, each of which features a bestial figure on the back of their shirt, similar to the plated boots and metal bracers. The llama warrior's leader soon shows up with his bodyguards. All three are dressed in attire that Hinata, Fu, and Naruto are accustomed to seeing. The leader is a shaved-headed man, wearing black and white robes and fighting gear resembling that of ninja monks from the elemental nations. To his right and left is a woman with an Amazonian build and short black hair, and a huge dog with fur that could pass for a lion enters the room. The monk bowed and said, "Greetings, everyone." Each person returned the gesture in their own special way. Now that everyone is present, all right. As Naruto moves forward with Fu and Hinata, Isef said, "Let's get started. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and I may be the last of the Garuda people in the Uzumaki clan." The three leaders give Naruto a curious look as he continues. "I have asked each of you here for your friendship and alliance to help form Nioyo, a military village. What do we stand to gain?" With an interested gaze on Naruto, the leader of the Drajo's people asked. "Yes, Vladimir and I both agree on this point." The Linquei leader looked at the blonde with curiosity and said, "Why should we?" Naruto looked at the two in question and said, "Well, it's due to a goal that can be explained by me asking about the history of your people, as they each related their own histories." Because she wanted the ways of the Linquei to flourish in a new setting. Ing, the female leader of the Linquei, had explained why she and her group of Linquei fled towards the elementals when the old branch was destroying itself with constant side-changing and backstabbing. Given that the Uzumaki clan had experienced similar emotions when it was a part of the Sanmaki clan before becoming the Uzumaki clan, Naruto listened with empathy. Vladimir recounted how his people came to the elementals to preserve their culture and history after witnessing their homeland lose its warriors' way due to reforms that harmed, rather than strengthened it by censoring the past and arresting anyone who taught the uncensored parts of history. NAR is aware of how the civilian council attempted to control history for their Uchiha masters by virtually erasing his people from Konoha's history books. The Llama warrior's leader, a wise man named Tien, described how his people had been shunned and subjected to discrimination because of their religious beliefs. They fled during an inquisition of the Llama warriors that resulted in some of them being killed. NR relates to this because he has encountered discrimination from the villagers even in a place of worship. As they turned to face Vladimir, Naruto said, "I can tell you I can share your feelings and reasons." Vladimir said, "I understand this sentiment because the dishonest leaders of Konoha, Yuza's sister village, have all but destroyed my clan." NAR turns to facing. "My clan was once part of the Senju clan, which was the Sanmaki clan. However, after years of conflict with the clan, they had to leave the mainland." Naruto turns to Tien. "Tien-sama, I understand your experience with prejudice because I was also the target of it while I was in Konoha, even in a place of worship. We all have a lot in common with each other. I want to rebuild my ancestral village. So I'm asking everyone here. All of you desire a relatively peaceful existence in Whirlpool Country. Each of your cultures is developing and thriving. My goal is for us to band together and create Nuzio. It allows your people to fight and learn from one another. I have no doubt that you are amazing people with your unique knowledge of warfare. But if an invading force decided to plunder your side of Yusuzu, you would be greatly outnumbered and outmaneuvered," Naruto said, glancing at the leaders in question. "As in the elemental nations, war can spread to different places not associated. While they may be formidable warriors on their own, they can also become more than a force to be reckoned with by learning from one another about each other's lifestyles." Each leader looks at Naruto and at each other as they consider. what they could accomplish. In front of them, they see a path toward the development of their individual peoples, while simultaneously uniting as a community of foreigners in a foreign land. Vladimir declared, I support the Drajos people joining Neo. I agree for the Lin Kuei people joining Neo, replied Ing. I agree for the Llama warriors joining Neo, Tian replied. I agree for the Us people joining Neo, stated Isef. Fu and Hinata are amazed at Naruto's ability to persuade various groups of people to join his reforming village. I appreciate everyone's participation, and are reassured the leaders of the foreign peoples. Our journey is long and strained, but I believe that we can make a new UI in no time. Yes, Vladimir said, glancing at the blonde. But what do you have to bring to the table for Yuzu? As Hinata moved forward, Naruto said, I bring to the table the knowledge of my ancestors, the sealing jutsu, the ninjutsu I know, and the Garuda arts. Hinata held Naruto's hand and said, I bring to the table knowledge on the Tenketsu points in the human body. With hope in her eyes, Fu said, I bring knowledge of water-based jutsu from C to low B rank levels. Isef, who was eager to learn, said, well, let's get started. The next 13 months are long but productive as Naruto, Fu, and Hinata teach the foundations of the fields they are familiar with. Naruto and Fu also disclose that the Jinchuriki are powerful entities known within the elemental nations that are containers of tailed beasts. When Naruto clarified their roles, the people were more understanding. In exchange, Naruto, Hinata, and Fu learned the ways of the foreigners. The Lin Kuei taught Hinata the art of Kailan Quan, which combines quick kicking, grappling, and combat acrobatics with the use of the Dao sword. The Drajos taught her how to better protect herself on the battlefield by teaching her komayas. The Llama warriors taught her how to channel spiritual energy from within herself to improve her speed, flexibility, and reflexes. The Ogos taught her about naval warfare and explosives. And the Duriemra, a fighting form that combines unarmed combat and dance into a highly developed and refined fighting form, which greatly enhances her combat ability. The Llama warriors taught Fu how to channel her spiritual energy to improve her agility and fluidity. The Ogas taught her how to use tactical impact bombs, which are meant to stun or incapacitate opponents, and the Drajos people taught her how to use her ability to fly for combat recon. Fu also learned from the Lin Kuei Spider Wand, a style that negates the advantages of any opponent, whether they are stronger, faster, more experienced, or more skilled. Ing taught Naruto Lan Quan, a fist that focuses on heavy strikes, grapples, and vicious bone breaking. In addition to teaching him pressure points, Vladimir taught Naruto a great deal about their tactics and modes of warfare. Isef taught Naruto about naval combat. Tien taught Naruto spirit purification and sensory. All of these groups helped Naruto train even harder, pushing his already advanced combat skills to new heights. As Naruto and Fu are currently with Tien at their home shrine, Tien realized that there is a way to get around their circumstances as containers. He explained that he could simply put their consciousness inside an organic clay golem that has the ability to trap energy similar to that of a tailed beast. Kurama was intrigued by the mystic monk's idea and consented to the procedure since he wouldn't have to be bound to the winged blonde. Fu, Naruto, and Tien, using his telepathic abilities, had explained that the Beiju in this form would be purified of any energies that have tainted their beings. Additionally, Naruto had used chakra seals to strengthen the chamber. Tien looked at Naruto and Fu and said, Okay, all set. The process will hurt you too. Sure, you will be all right. Nar comfortingly held Fu's hand and said, Yes, my mother survived the extraction process. It wouldn't be outside of my survival thanks to the Garuda. I'll be fine. Calm said she will leave some chakra for me to help me survive. Fu said, smiling at Naruto and Hinata as they started the process. Tien used the talisman of the 7 moons to extract the tailed beast inside of Fu first, and instead of screaming or feeling anything, she felt herself being greatly energized as Calm soon transformed into a woman with butterfly wings inside the organic clay golem. Naruto and the others saw an aurora borealis in the room as Cho went completely inside her golem, changing its form into that of a being of living flesh. And when it opened its eyes, it revealed blue eyes with a ripple pattern. She had green hair and a build similar to an athletic buxom supermodel. And Naruto was surprised by the pattern, thinking, it must take after the pattern of the sage's eyes. As she approached Nar, Calm said, "Greetings, Nar. It's good to see you without being chained to my little larvae." "Likewise, CH. Now, let's get grumpy out of me," Naruto said telepathically. "I heard that Blondie," he said, laughing as he removes his shirt and the llama warriors stare at him with hearts in their eyes as he lies on the table. "Okay, ready, Tenon," Naruto said as Tien uses the talisman of 7 moons on him as his form is permeating. Kurama himself feels the purifying energies of the talisman. Standing 6 feet 6 inches in tall, muscular, athletic, but somewhat lean. The women in the room give Kurama lustful looks with the exception of Hinata and Fu, who go to see how Naruto is doing after learning that he is okay. As a blushing female Lin Kuei warrior hands Kurama a robe to put on, Naruto asks, "So Kurama, what will you do now with your newfound freedom?" "Well, I have been cleansed of malice by the energy of the talisman of 7 moons, but I feel something like it. Pure, not ignorant rage, but a rage that would make me tremble with fear." Kurama looked directly into Naruto's eyes and said, "Righteous fury." Kurama smiled as he looked at the blonde and said, "My answer is I become the guardian of Nuzio." Fu looked at the now flesh golem Calm and asked, "So CH, what will you do?" "Well, like Kuraman-san, I want to be a guardian of Yusuzu. Especially, I want to see some godchildren from you, Nar," Calm said, causing Hinata, Fu, and Naruto to blush. Naruto more than before. Everyone in the area laughs at the blonde situation. In the elemental nations. Elsewhere, the leader of the Akatsuki is searching for the 2 missing Jinchuriki, believing that Konoha still possesses the Nine-tailed Jinchuriki and that Waterfall banished their Jinchuriki. At the moment, Pain, the leader, is examining the map of Zetsu's constant search for the 2 missing Jinchuriki. Nine-tail's Jinchuriki. "Where are you?" "You cannot escape from me," thought Matera as she examined the map. Nar and company are back. In addition to bringing in disgruntled shinobi seeking a new life and home, Nar can be seen flying towards nations to request a trade alliance and contract work for his forces. As a result, Nuzuzuyo starts to acquire the resources required for Nuzu, which also brought in travelers hoping to by keeping the foreigners inside a designated area and instructing them not to leave the residential area. Kurama and Calm separated the rotten newcomers from the less rotten ones and subjected them to a technique Naruto developed based on the Phoenix Gate method, which he named the Fire Gate. This effectively eliminated the possibility of infiltrators. The Linwei gained some new recruits from the foreigners. The Llama warriors brought many new converts to their religious practices. The Drajos people found many women and men marrying into their culture and adopting it for themselves. And the Ogus people constructed a sea castle to help serve as a training base for the Nuza Navy and Marine Corps, bringing new recruits into the Navy and Marines. After visiting the Springtime Mall, Naruto is currently returning to Usuo, approaching Water Country, and he is grinning at Koyuki's response. Rewind to a week ago. In the guise of Garuda, Naruto is flying to Spring Country in order to negotiate a trade agreement with Snow Daimao for some of her more advanced technology. As he travels, he observes that Spring Country has recovered, with ports being opened, rebuilt, and remodeled. He soon arrives at the capital, which is more modern than before. And as he lands, he sees the city streets with more clean and well-maintained sidewalks. Naruto walks towards a hotel to take a break from his lengthy journey and check the hotel. After sealing the windows and door, Naruto removes his gear and goes to bed. The following day, in his Garuda form, NAR approaches the Due's court with a trade agreement, checks in to inform the Daimao in her court of his presence, and is internally ecstatic to see one of the people he has previously assisted in saving. As soon as Naruto enters the Due's court, the people are in awe of him because they have never seen someone with wings before, but they have seen bloodlines with multiple body parts and jutsus of some kind. It's a pleasure to meet you, Lady Quickie. I am Garuda from Neo Yusuzu, and I am here to request a trade agreement between your country and my village, Naruto said, bowing respectfully while still wearing his helmet. Koyuki looked at Garuda curiously and said, "Greetings, Lord." Garuda, it's not every day I get to meet someone of your unique abilities. Koyuki looked at the man and said, "Before we begin, can you please take off your helmet so we can know your face?" "Of course, but would you mind hiding my face?" Koyuki nodded in agreement as Naruto stated, "I need secrecy from my enemies who hide in the shadows and in the light." Koyuki watches as the figure gradually unfastening Naruto's face to the court. "No one will reveal your identity within this room," Koyuki promises. Because of Naruto's appearance both then and now, Koyuki looks at him strangely without his whisker marks. "Pardon me, Garuda-sama. Are you possibly related to Naruto Uzumaki?" Koyuki asked, glancing at him inquisitively. "No, that is not who I am. I am Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto declared, shocking the female Daimao with his appearance as he pulled out a marker and drew whiskers on his face. Koyuki is shocked to learn that the boy she believed to be dead is actually alive and has changed in appearance. "Naruto, you're alive, but how?" Koyuki exclaimed, delighted that her friend was still alive. The tale is lengthy. From everyone's perspective, Naruto has emerged as the most fascinating individual in the room. "I hope you and your court are ready for a wild story," NAR said, starting to recount how he survived his failed mission to retrieve, how he gained a bloodline from being struck by lightning, how he acquired the weapons of an ancestor from a race of humanoid winged warriors, and his plans to build Neo with warriors from the western continent. One advisor looked at the warrior with the blonde wings and said, "Incredible." "Yes, it is," Naruto said, grinning as he glanced at everyone. "Now on to business," Naruto said, pulling out the written agreement that outlines the reasonable terms. In exchange for Spring Country providing Neo Yusuzu with some of its sea to lower rank missions and technology to aid in their development, Nuzio will send specialists to train samurai forces in critical skills that necessitate risky battlefield assignments and to participate in special operations when necessary. When Koyuki inquires about Neo Yusuzu's fighting force, Naruto reveals that they have a fierce light infantry unit of the Lin Kuei known as the Savage White Tigers, an elite force of shock troops of the Drajo's people known as the Crimson Dragons, and highly skilled Marine Raiders in the August people he named the Sea Wolves. Each of the units has its own special enhanced abilities that Naruto could only characterize as exceptional. Naruto asked, "So Koyuki, do you agree to this trade agreement?" Koyuki grinned in response. The end of the flashback. In addition to giving Naruto a gift for Hinata and Fu in the form of 2 exquisite dresses and matching shoes, Koyuki had fully accepted the trade agreement. As he considers the gifts, he finds himself struggling to stay in the air while battling the wind current. The winds are getting stronger and stronger, and before long, Naruto falls out of the sky. He tries to recover from the free fall, but it gets harder and harder. Eventually, he manages to glide his fall in a nearby river, but the fall cracked his helmet open. After emerging from the river with a severe concussion, NAR is surrounded by 10 people. And before he passes out, he realizes that they are not Root, but rather something else. 1 hour and 30 minutes. When NAR awakens, his helmet is cracked and on the ground. His hands are bound, and he is chained to a rock. He feels someone beating his face to remove the blood from his healing head wound. Oh, you're awake. Akunoichi wearing an outfit that reveals some of her cleavage said, "We were hoping you would answer some questions." Naruto looks up at the kunoichi and asks, "Who are you?" As his vision begins to clear up and he sees 10 ninja Amazon encircling him. Looking at the blonde wingman in front of her and examining his wings and features, Shizuka said, "I am Shizuka, leader of the Nadeshiko Amazon. You are on the outskirts of Nadeshiko village." Shizuka looked at the blonde with wings and said, "Now, who are you and why were you flying over my village?" "I am Neos, leader Garuda." Naruto responded, "I was returning from Spring Country with a trade agreement for my village." While Shizuka gave him a questioning look while examining his broken helmet. The ninja Amazon are shocked that the blonde broke chakra chains, which are strengthened with reinforced seals. "Prove it," a ninja Amazon said as Naruto broke the chain holding him and pulled out the scroll of said agreement to show Shizuka. Shizuka read it and nodded in agreement. Shizuka looked at Naruto curiously and said, "You are telling the truth, but tell me what your real name is." Naruto looked at the Amazon leader in question and said, "I cannot tell you." Shizuka pulled out her ninjutsu and said, "I am afraid I cannot leave unless you beat me in combat." NAR pulled out his short double-edged sword and declared, "I will do what I must." They then engage in a fierce sword fight in which Naruto and Shizuka collide, matching sword for sword. Shizuka is shocked by Naruto's overwhelming strength because she feels tremors in her arms when she blocks each sword strike. And Naruto is shocked by Shizuka's speed and wiry agility because she can deflect his sword strikes, albeit with some difficulty. The battle goes on for 3 exhausting hours. The sword skills of Naruto and Shizuka alternate, with Shizuka's acrobatic crescent moon dance technique competing with Naruto's Trikoto brawler technique and Shizuka flipping over Naruto after avoiding a blow. As Shizuka is about to land, Naruto kicks her in the stomach, sending her sprawling to the ground. Shizuka recovers and launches a fireball at Naruto, who uses his wing to perform a tornado spin that extinguishes the fireball's flames. NAR retaliates with lightning, sending Shizuka sprawling to the ground. After recovering, Shizuka is ready to stand up, but Naruto stops her before she can reach for a sword. NAR calmly glanced at the Amazon leader and declared, "The battle is over. I win." "You have indeed," Shizuka remarked. "You are an incredible warrior. I only hope our daughter can be the same." Naruto stared at her in confusion at the Raidnet statement. Naruto looked at her questioningly and said, "What do you mean?" "Well, you see, as Naruto is repulsed by the rules of Nadeshiko village," Shizuka remarked, "a ninja Amazon would have to fight their suitor in order to be married. If he won, he would be married. If he lost, he would die." Disgusted by the way relationships are formed in their village, Naruto questioned, "Why would you let such a barbaric law be in place for so long?" That question has been there ever since the start, but I think it's getting close to the end, Shizuka said, feeling depressed about something or someone. For the first time, Naruto feels the need to see someone punished. "Tell me your story," he asked as Shizuka looked at him and told him about what had happened to a merchant named Sagura years ago. She told him that she was in love with him, and that the village elders had something to do with his death. In a tone of rage, Naruto asked, Shizuka introduces Naruto to the elders of her village, who are all lounging in luxury over what appear to be various marriage-related goods. Naruto quickly realizes that the elders are not good parasites and brutally murders them all. Shizuka considers what lies ahead for her in her village as she watches Naruto take off with his repaired helmet, saying, "You are free to make your own choices. Chose your destiny." Shizuka blushed as she thought, "Thank you, Garuda. I will always remember you for your act, especially remember your face." After repairing his helmet with Garuda alchemy, Naruto still feels pain in his wings from the crash and his battle with Shizuka. He makes a shadow clone and sends it to Nu along with the trade agreement documents so he can recuperate after landing close to a village. As he made his way to the village, Naruto thought, "Good grief, what a day." Time skip in Spring Country 6 months later. A Seawolf member wearing lame lar armor and a turban helmet appears to be leading a platoon of Ashagaru in training as they run laps around a designated area at a naval fort. Left, 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 right, right, left, left. A member of the Sea Wolves, who appeared to be the Ashagaru platoon's drill sergeant, yelled, "Keep moving. I will make you lot soldiers of the sea, even if I got to kill you." Meanwhile, a veteran samurai and another sea wolf were instructing their platoon in unarmed combat. The sea wolf marine, who was watching the sparring match, said, "Come on, hit him. This is no playground dance. You are a soldier. Hit him hard and fast. Don't let up on your assault." In other parts of Sea Country, a small strike force of sea wolves is attacking a base of operations that appears to be a lair full of mutants of some kind. The Marine Raiders are battling their way inside the base, using their saber, spear, daggers, truncheons, and bare hands to destroy any mutant that stands in their way. The scientist, who appears to be the leader of the group of mutant raiders, is fleeing in fear of the fighting force destroying his creations. The scientist ordered Isaribi to go install them. "No, give me the cure. I don't want to be stuck like this," Amachi-sama is said, looking at him demandingly. A marine descended from the ceiling and said, "Girl, get away from the man. He is just a lair and a cheat for him. He won't give you a cure for everything you have done for him. He will use you." The sea wolf gazed at the man. "Stay back or I'll kill this bitch," Amachi said as he grabbed Isari and held her at blade point before changing. Isari was terrified and felt betrayed by the man. "Your beasts are dying. You have nowhere else to run," the sea wolf said as he saw a sea wolf with a dagger ready to fly at Amachi. Amachi was about to say, "Tell your force to withdraw or all arg," when a dagger was discovered in his back, causing him to fall to the ground, unconscious. Looking at a worried Isaribi, a worried sea wolf asked, "Are you all right, miss?" Isaribi looked at the raider with despair and hopelessness and said, "No, I'm cursed with what that bastard did to me." The sea wolf gave Isari hope for the future by saying, "Not to worry, ma'am. Our leader has something that might help your predicament." The elemental nations. Elsewhere, a member of the Lin Kuei, who is pursuing them from the shadows, spots 2 men in black cloaks with red clouds approaching Suna's gates without being noticed by some Suna guards. Within Konoha, reports regarding Yuza's reconstruction into Neo are being read by Tsunade. She reads about how strange warriors representing Neo attack multiple Odo bases. Additionally, Tsunade is unaware of Neo's leader. Shizun bursts into the room as she is reading the reports. Tsunade looks at Shizun anxiously. Shizun yells, "Lady Hawkhag," with urgency. "What is Shizun?" Tsunade asked, looking at her apprentice with concern. Tsunade stared in horror. Shizun declared, "Suna has been attacked. The case Cage has been kidnapped by the Akatsuki. Tsunade and Shirzuen proceed to the messenger hawk cages as instructed, sending any available teams towards Suna to help with any wounded or sick. If possible, help pursue the cage's kidnappers. Inside a communications room in Nuzio, so they are making their move good because we can now begin our anti-Akatsuki operations, Narad said to a screen as he put on his armor. Followed by Fu Hinata, a young female Dreo shock trooper, an experienced male Ogus Marine, and a proficient Lin Kuei, guerrilla fighter. As everyone nods in agreement, Narad said, "Your orders are simply to rescue the cage and kill any Akatsuki member in the area. Remember, if Itachi is to be encountered, leave him to me if that is understood." Naruto put on his Garuda helmet and said, "Good. Let's move out." Using a unique teleportation gate that Narad, Tien, and Vladimir created for quick elemental travel, the group approaches Suna. Insa. As Suna shinobis put out fires, Temari observes numerous injured and a few dead. As she evaluates the battle damage, a beam of light soon descends. And when it fades, the Nyouza group is visible. The group is surrounded by numerous Suna shinobi. Temari approached the group and said, "Anata, stand down everyone. She is a friend." As Temari glanced at her group, Hinata remarked, "We came as soon as our operative in the area had reported the Akatsuki in the area." Temari asked in confusion, "Who are we?" As the female Drajo's warrior stepped forward, Hinata remarked, "Ow, we are News's executive assault squad that is tasked with the destruction of the Akatsuki and their operations." As the Lin Kuei warrior advanced, Landra responded, "I am Landra of Nilhuza's Blue Dragons." As the Ogus veteran stepped forward, Tomas responded, "I am Tomas of the 5th Commando Group." Pai, posing as Narad, responded, "I am Pai of the 4th Devil Dog Marines Unit." Garuda then moved forward. "I am Garuda Yusuzukij of Nizio. This is my consort and fellow lover of Hinata, Lady Vishnu or Lady V," Naruto said, bowing to Temari while maintaining the appearance of the mercenary turned cage. "Happy to make your acquaintance," Fu, posing as Lady Vishnu, acknowledged. Temari said, "Greetings, Yusuzuk. I am grateful for you being here," as she gazed in wonder at the winged figure. As Temari considers what he said, Garuda said, "No problem, Temari. Sabaku, after all, a mutual friend of your brother, had pleaded for me to help. Sakura Haruno, Sasuke, Uchi, ninjas, Sai, and Kakashi Hitaki are among the Konoha team that soon storms in. Everyone looks down on the Konoha group with the exception of the Yuza group. While Asuma Kurani and Anko pushed past him, Sasaki declared, "We're here to help the weak people of Suna." Sakura screamed as Anko said, "Pardon the dumbass. He doesn't speak for us. We came to assist Suna as best we could." Perry silenced Sakura by punching her in the throat before she could finish, saying, "Silence, Snake Horno speaks too." Anko looked at the Ogus Marine and said, "Thank you. Handsome Pinky was getting on my nerves." As a Lin Kuei leapt alongside Garuda, police said, "No problem, ma'am. Happy to help." Garuda was told to report. Lin Kuei looked at the winged man and said, "Garuda-sama, the enemy has made their way to a cave that is guarded by a complex sealing matrix." As he and his group moved, Garuda said, "Good. Go back to your post and wait for further orders. Let's move to recover the cage." Pearly winks at Anko, who is enthralled with the Marine, and says, "See you, Mastresi," before leaving. Anko thought, what a man, as she gazed lovingly at the Marine Raider as he and their group approached the section. Sakura, Sasaki, and Kakashi reluctantly joined the Konoha group in supporting them. Soon after they run into Kisame. Hashigek and Itachi Sasaki is easily defeated despite his blind rage attacks. Using the sensors in his helmet, NR learns that these are only remote-controlled body doubles. He then orders his group to disregard them, exposing their own controlled body doubles. They depart as NAR dismembers the doubles, using a wind current, destroying them. The cave where Gar is being held is discovered by the group. As Team Guy arrived to assist them, an arrogant Sasaki asked, "So what now, Garuda Dope? How will you get inside of this barrier?" Garuda said, "Simply run. I'll do this," as he touched the seal, which quickly began to deteriorate, exposing Gar, whose Buju was being taken out by Sazori and Deidara. Dara avoids the lightning-covered chakram that Naruto throws at him, but it strikes the statue Shikaku was entering, causing it to spit the Buju back into the Gar. After sealing the Bu back into the unconscious redhead, Naruto's group attacks two Akatsuki duos as he rushes toward Gar. The Nuzu group's fighting strategies catch Dara and Sazori off guard just as the Oguza's super strength and bombs the Drajo's warriors' fighting strategies and aggression, and the Lintwei warriors' skill and acrobatic prowess caught them completely off guard. The two were not prepared to deal with these warriors along with Fu Hinata and the Konoha group, even though they were trained for shinobi-based fighters. As Dara and Fury engaged in a bomb fight, Siri said, "Daida, we have to retreat. These are warriors we can't handle." Given that Pori's explosives are more concussive and incendiary than his own, Dara was forced to concur with Siri. The two flee the conflict. When Gar awakens, Naruto is dressed as Garuda. In an attempt to surprise Gar in a special way, Naruto introduced himself with the words, "Greetings, K's Cage. I am Garuda, leader of Nuzu." Garuda, taken aback by the UK's wings, helps Gar to his feet. Gar bowed and said, "Thank you for saving my life." Garuda saying, "It's greatly appreciated," and AR gives the bow back. As the other members of the Konoha group groaned in annoyance at the Uchiha air, Sasaki responded, "Yeah, I bet I could have done it better." NAR mockingly remarked, "Yes, let's not forget the oh-so-good job with how you handled that Itachi double who had tossed you around so easily," while Sasaki growled in response. As Perry laughed at the Uchiha, trembling with anger, he said, "Yes, how the mightiest Yukaya was knocked on his ass by a double of his kinslayer. How so? Embarrassing to the supposed great Yukaya clan." As she laughs at the Uchiha, who rushes to her and grabs her shirt, Landra remarks, "Yes, it would seem he talks and walks like a boy than a man." Sasaki said, "You, ___ I am superior." As Landra's knee struck him in the balls shortly after, Landra's voice was sharp as she said, "Don't ever touch me, little boy, or I will make sure you can't love a woman anymore." Sakura, who was given the backhand by the Drajo's warrior woman, said, "Let him go, you Amazon." Landra called Sakura a pathetic fawn girl and threw Sasuke on top of her while walking with her group. As they depart with their UK and case Cage, Gar looked at Naruto and said, "So tell me, Garuda-san, why did you save me?" NR partially lied when he said a friend of yours by the name of Naruto Uzumaki had let us know of his situation. So he had been preparing for them and keeping watch for when they made their moves while building Nuzu. For his part, Gar is taken aback and shocked by his friend's survival. Gar looked at the winged man and asked, "Can I talk to him?" Naruto looked at Gar, who was beaming about his group meeting Tamari, Kanuro, Matsuri, Lady Chiyo, and many of his close friends. "He will talk to you very soon when everyone is need to be informed about the Akatsuki threat." Naruto said. Garuda shook Gar's hand and said, "Well, K's Cage, you have been returned to your nation of Suna. I must return to prepare for a cage summit." For his part, Gar recognizes the winged man in question. As he and his group approached the location where they had originally arrived, Garuda said, "Goodbye, Konohanans, we will meet again." Anko whispers in Pori's ear and gives him a kiss before they leave. Perry gives the concerned woman a smile. Perry gave Anko a wink and said, "See you around, Snake Mistress." The group is returned to Yujiro shortly after. Asuma said, "Wow, that's awesome." And Kurini nodded in agreement. The Konoha group departs to let's know what's going on. Alongside Naruto and the group, the team rejoices over the successful rescue effort to celebrate in private. Hinata, Fu, and Naruto had gone to their house. The three of them are having rough sex with each other, and the sounds of moans and pounding flesh can be heard throughout the hallways. Fortunately, the house was soundproof while Hinata and Fu were having the time of their lives while having sex with each other and their blonde lover. Hours later, the three of them fell onto the bed. As they lie exhausted from the beatings they endured, Fu and Hinata hug Naruto and stroke his muscular torso. As Fu drifts off to sleep next to Naruto and Hinata, who are also soundly asleep, she thinks, always amazing, his immense stamina never ceases to amaze. Tower of Hokage, Konoha, everything regarding Neo Whirlpool and its leader is communicated by the K's cage retrieval team. For her part, Tsunade was astounded to see how a mercenary nin who for some reason seemed familiar to her had rebuilt her ancestors' homeland. As she considers the possibility that Naruto is still alive and well inside of Nuzio, Tsunade said, "Your team is dismissed, but be on standby for what's to happen." In another unnamed village, Yugo of Kumo is knocked unconscious on the ground by the zombie duo of Hedon and Kakazu. While Hedon was reattaching his arm, Kakazu, who still had claw marks on his cloak, remarked, "Well, that was a good fight. She is a superb kunoichi through and through." As the two attempted to seize Yudo ni, Hedon remarked, "Enough with the compliments. Let's get the bj. I can sacrifice her to Jashin." However, several hyper-flying arrows tore the pair to pieces. The unexpected attack left Hedon and Kakazu wounded, while two members of their group go to check on Yujito herself. Lin Kuei leaps down from their hiding places to encircle the two. The leader declared, "To cure Yugo ni." The other two are to be eliminated while one of them severed Hedon's head. Hedon's continued life caught the group off guard when he yelled, "Hey, you sons of __, that hurt." As he renders Hedon unconscious, he says, "It would appear that the Jashinist is immortal in some fashion. Let us take his head with us." When Kumo Andu arrives on the scene and finds nothing, the leader says, "Okay, let's move out. Lord Garuda will want our report on the mission and Yujito's status." Kakazu is unfortunate though, as a Dao sword takes his head from his shoulders. For months later, time jumped to Iron Country. Cages from Konoha, Kumo, Iwa, Kiri, Odo, and Suna villages, as well as the recently risen Neuropol have been summoned to the Cage Summit. Tsunade Senju enters the room, with Yamanaka and Inoichi followed by grudging Sasaki Uchiha, and might guy a stunning kunoichi named Majorumi, and the next generation of Kiri's swordsman Cho, and Aoi, a veteran of the Kiri Civil War. Followed by Gar and his siblings Rick, along with his brother Killer Bee and his son Derry, the seasoned leader of Iwa. Onoke of the Scales, along with his bodyguards, his granddaughter Kuritsuchi, and her partner Akatsuchi and Narugo. Dressed in his newly enhanced and stylized Garuda armor, who enters with Hinata and Isef. Asune began to notice the mannerism. Naruto said, "Greetings, Bakhan. I'm happy to see you again. You Gar as does Gar." But as they settle in, they start to make connections to the enigmatic Garuda. "The Vicious Ace said, let's get this done. I have a kunoichi to find." Killer Bee nodded, removing his hat and setting it on the table. May said, "Maybe we can ask Garuda-san why he has called this summit," as she sat down and gave the winged warrior in question a curious glance. Oni sat down and gave the new leader a stern look. "Yes, especially about that contraption on his back. He said, "Well, I can say that I am descended from a race of humanoid." Bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time. Let's begin. NAR appears to be dead or dying on the damp riverbed. Some people who are not good bastards would believe that he deserves to die. However, some perceive him as a young man battling a curse unlike any other.